The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. We have a great show.
I'm so excited.
Right up here.
You know, you say that like all of our shows aren't great.
No, I say all of our shows are great.
They are.
And I'm
We
just
come to play
reinforcing
This is
week.
way better than in our boring shows because this is right up my alley.
Ooh, I'll take
Yeah.
that
I'm not
challenge.
sure
Right.
if you should, to Tony's point, not all our shows are boring.
No, can I just say we're coming off of 2 weeks of Lenny Clark. There's nothing boring about that. It might not be the most informational.
Educational.
Yeah, but,
All right.
but boring? I don't think so.
To our guests, if you have any confusion on negative amortization, you
Call
watch our
Lenny-
show
call Lenny
or
Clark.
call Lenny Clark.
Yeah.
Right.
But for today,
Yes.
we have Sebastien Cervantes on from
Nice.
Windmill Hypnosis.
Yay,
Oh,
we've had him
beautiful.
before.
He's been
Had
on
him
before.
and,
Yeah.
and I thought we were going to straighten out our mental well-being in the year since he's here, but I think we
I
need
think
a little.
I have.
I think we need a tune-up.
Yeah.
we need a tune-up.
No, I feel like I've come 100%.
I think when
since I
last he was here, we all did some deep breathing at
we're
the
gonna
end.
do
And then I
we
started
did.
uttering words that shouldn't have come out
Yeah.
of my mouth.
know.
You know,
No.
just
You had
the
an
other
Irish
day-
dialect, too. You did.
Just the other day, I found myself inadvertently in a deep state of hypnosis.
How?
Yeah, I was laying
were you
on my
doing?
couch just hoping to nap, and I had some nice music on, and for some reason I put my hands up to my face just like this, and then I went into this state where I could sort of still feel the music, but not actually hear it, and it was only about 10 or 15 minutes, and I woke up refreshed. I felt like I was 30 years old
did
again.
he prep you
I don't-
before? Because I think that's what you're going to want to talk about today. Right?
love to talk
I
about
don't
that.
know. This just literally happened Sunday. And
Have you ever
feel-
done that before?
And no, I mean, listen, I've been high and passed out before.
No, that's different.
You know, that's
different.
No, that's not the same exact thing. But that's the closest I've ever come.
No,
to
but like,
this.
did you feel like so you weren't 100% awake, but you weren't
100%
So you're
asleep.
kind of floating.
Yeah,
in.
sort of in the middle.
That's what we were just talking about.
There's a
Exactly.
few questions we already got to ask you. We got a lot of stuff.
Thanks,
Go for
Tony.
it.
Just happened Sunday, really.
So
It's good, huh?
So hypnosis isn't like I know you're going to explain, but it's not really like a sleep.
You
it's
will walk out this door
Right.
and shoot.
I wish it was. That would make my life so much easier. I
Right.
could just, say, okay, hold up, close your eyes, open up your head,
Yeah.
tinker around with it, pop it back down, send you off, and you're cured.
Right.
I wish it was that easy.
Right.
It is simple. It's not that simple.
Right.
But
right.
But you don't know
Honestly-
what's in somebody, like a patient's head. Like you don't know what's in there, so you don't know what you're up against.
No. Oh, I wish. Once again, I really wish. I wish I could just do the pocket watch. No one has ever asked me to do the pocket watch.
Yeah.
You
I don't even
know,
know
the
pocket
old.
watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You.
And they get the spinning thing on the show that reflect the
I wish.
hypnosis.
That's okay. Being high and then having that in front of your head, that's stage hypnosis. That's being in a
Right,
Vegas
right.
act.
Oh, right.
That's like
I've seen
warming
that
up.
done before,
Yeah.
too.
That is a legitimate form of hypnosis, if
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
It's just, the problem is, it's based around you're already susceptible, you're already in an altered state,
Wait,
and you're already ready to take
Right.
some suggestions
So-
from someone.
Yeah.
You have to. They say that you have to be open to being hypnotized to be hypnotized. You can fight it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 80%, based off a recent study I read from Stanford, 80% of the population, to some extent, is hypnotizable.
Okay.
A good 80%. 10% are what we call just super suggestible, meaning they can be hypnotized without me having to barely do anything. I could just say, go into a trance right now.
Yeah.
And within 10 seconds, they're
And that's 10% of the population.
10% of the population.
Yeah.
The last 10% are not.
Psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
Or sociopaths.
Sociopaths.
Right.
Yeah.
Sociopaths.
Yeah.
people with what we call an argumentative, combative personality
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
tend to be not hypnotizable just
I
because
just said, oh boy,
They don't want it, right?
they don't
You're
want
talking
it.
about me.
to prove my point.
Stubborn, right? Yeah.
Now, okay, if we go even further, back in the 1960s, the CIA actually ran a research journal of their own. And they were trying to find out, could we use hypnosis to get people's secrets from them?
Yeah.
So one of the hard and fast rules about hypnosis is you can't make someone do or say or believe anything that they don't want to do or say or believe.
They wouldn't do it, right?
Exactly. That's why in stage hypnosis, if you're drunk and high, you might be more open to it.
To it, right?
But in regular clinical hypnotherapy with a client, with the hypnotherapist, that's probably not going to happen.
Right.
The CIA wanted to see, could we do it with an unwilling subject? They found out in their journal, and they published this, it is possible to do it, but it takes such a long, long time. And you have to do sleep deprivation, food and water deprivation.
Oh, like waterboarding or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they tell,
So-
they
yeah,
finally tell the truth.
Yeah, but they found is, yes, it works, but you're kind of already torturing someone on top of that already. So
There's a big difference between suggestion and beating it out of somebody.
All right, I would
So the-
suggest the CIA
So the
do not do that.
torturing's probably going to get it out of them first before the hypnosis.
You
I would
think so, probably.
Yeah.
but
So-
otherwise, yeah.
Now, in that 80%, there's a range too, right? Where suggestibility is quite a range, right?
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, too. It's going to vary depending on the day you're having, depending on how you're feeling,
Yeah.
depending on whether you've done it before. You've met people, and they're coming in to meet you for the first time, and you can just tell they're tense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no idea. They don't know what they're coming in for. They're just like, I'm scared, I'm nervous. Just please be gentle. I don't
yeah,
know.
So let me start by asking you a question. What does the typical patient, you call them patients, right? Clients,
Yeah.
come see you for?
I wish I could give you an answer. It's honestly varied so much. And the bigger problem is they'll come in for something, and then it'll turn out sometimes it's a bigger or a different issue completely that they realize.
So, like,
Here's
what
the
would they
deeper thing.
give us a detail?
Like,
give
is
us
it
a,
work related,
Let's say it
diet
is.
related?
Here's what I would say the top three are: diet, smoking, anxiety.
stress, right? I was
Boom,
going to say
you got
that.
it, actually.
Yeah, I got all of those.
Right.
I got them all. I got
What
the
about
trifecta.
over drinking
Yeah.
or
Drinking, yes.
medication, substance abuse?
Substance abuse, drinking, smoking, vaping is a big one nowadays. That's the big one. Cigarette smoking is not as big as it once was. I think especially, people are getting raised now
Well,
with
they're marketing it a lot different now.
Oh no, you
marketing's
can
worse.
vape and
But
have a
vaping-
whole
They used
host
to-
of different problems.
There used to be a very, semi-famous guy around here, and I don't know if this is a derogatory term, but we called him
The Russian.
The Mad Russian.
Yeah, and he had excellent results.
Tony, you're like the third person who's told me about it this
Yeah.
month, and I wish I could find this guy.
He's
He
probably
is
long
probably
You're
gone.
too young.
Yeah.
You're too young.
He's
Yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
long gone.
But
Because that was in the 80s,
yeah,
right?
it was in the 80s and early
Yeah.
90s, and I've witnessed it, with some buddies who primarily for smoking and some drinking. But you would be with them, and then something would be said, and they'd just take off.
Now, is
It's
that-
and
Is that a myth or?
So here's the weird thing about hypnosis. It's a bigger range than you think. It's not just, pocket watch, you're getting sleepy. When
Yeah,
I
yeah.
snap my fingers, you are going to do this. It can really just be like what this guy, from what I understand,
Yeah.
other people are describing is, like you said, it can be a group hypnosis.
Right.
Kind of like
Yeah,
arranging
that's what I
yourself.
think the
he
Mad
used to do
Russian
did it.
did.
Yeah.
And you can go in for anything. I've
Right.
heard it done for smoking, for overeating, for anxiety, for any issue. And what happens is, I think what this guy was doing is he was just relaxing.
Right.
And they just talk at you for hours and hours and hours until something is just kind of switched. I think your brain, the way I've always seen it is your brain just goes, I'm so bored, just do something. you can stay for this. I'm getting out of here.
Right. Yeah.
But it can be that. It can be something honestly closer to a conversation.
Yeah.
You don't have to have your eyes closed.
Yeah.
You don't have to be catatonic. You don't have to be any of that. Some people can't get that deep. I've had some people who are just kind of whimpering and their eyes are closed and they're twitching for an hour or 2 hours. I've had some people who are just kind of, and they're just calm and they're breathing, but they're here.
Listen,
they're
if
very
you were
clear.
talking to me for an hour,
Yeah,
I
you got a very calming voice.
Thank you.
I would be 100 pounds soaking wet, right?
I'd feel better. All right, back to Kathy's point here.
Yes.
So you got whatever they're coming in for. So just tell us how that session works. Do they start talking about them? You don't just jump right into the hypnosis.
No.
You talk for a while, see what the issues are, right?
Exactly. That's hypnosis would be you come in, you say, I got this problem. I don't want it to happen anymore. Or I got this thing I want to do. Get me to start doing it.
Yeah.
And we just launch right in.
Wow.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you really want. I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what's maybe blocking you so far. I just go and find a way to do it. Hypnotherapy is when you come in.
Every week or every month, right?
We don't have to do every month. Actually, that's my goal is always to do as few sessions as possible.
Wow.
Because if you, that's the difference between hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and regular therapy. You go to a therapist, and they're kind of there's the expectation you're going to see them for a long time. You're going to be
Right.
best friends. You're going to be sending them Christmas cards.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
A lot
I want to get
a lot of
people
psychiatrists have an
out
annuity
quicker.
plans with
You
those.
want to get them healthy in the head and move on to the next person.
One of the guiding principles I have is a lot of people kind of know on some level what's either the
What
issue
they
or what's
want to get rid of.
exactly
Yeah.
what's getting in your way.
I have been conditioned for the last 36 years or so to do anything the wife says. I hear her voice and I go, yes.
I would
So
too.
I think that's
Like in a
many
trance,
years. Yeah,
right?
that is like the many years of
Yes,
abuse.
dear. Yes, dear.
Yes.
That's the torture,
Yes.
right?
Yes, that's the torture.
I had to use your line the other day. I hope you don't mind. I was trying to come up with a thought. I said, I don't have to think anymore.
I got a wife.
Right,
Yeah,
there you
sure.
go.
Good.
What? Well, sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
But hypnotherapy is really, we're going to come in, you're going to come talk to me about what it is. Either, and most of the time, like you said, Tony, it's going to be either I want something removed. I don't want to eat as much. I don't want to smoke. I don't want to be anxious. Or I want to be more confident. I want to exercise more.
Right.
I want to do something different, but I'm not doing it right now.
Right.
So,
All right.
so you know what you want. You don't have to talk to me about
right,
it.
Yes,
let's-
I want to lose 50 pounds
All right, so let's do that
without
one. So
exercising
let's-
and not changing my diet. How about
Okay.
that?
and I want to drink a lot to celebrate
Yeah.
these days. All right, so how would we talk?
Well,
let's do a
that's-
cli-
First
let's do a
doable.
case study. Say one of us on this panel wanted to come in to try to lose weight.
Okay.
So you talk with them for about an
How
hour.
about two of them?
I know.
Okay.
I know. I
Let's do it.
I'd always hold a little bit of time before we even get into hypnosis because I want to find out what's getting in your way right now.
M&M's,
Food.
Okay.
Food.
brownies, cookies,
Wine.
Entenmann's
Red
cake,
wine.
Okay.
Corona lights. They're not really lights if you have 24 of them. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Let me try to get to.
Well, we can break it down. We can make it so that you don't even really need my services because truly, and I say that really
No,
authentically.
I know.
No,
Calories.
we need your services.
Calories in equal calories
I
out.
know. It's that easy.
We
but
all
even at
know.
its-
We all know what the deal
I
is.
know.
Well, at its core, too. Where are you getting these from? When do you get them? What's the mood?
all
or
the time from
What's
my
the-
refrigerator.
What's the
Every time.
trigger? There's a
24
trigger.
24/7.
Sure.
Who's
Yeah, I heard. I know.
who's your supplier?
No, I heard one guy
The
talking about
convenience
he
store.
lost about 180 pounds. He says, "Listen, my whole life I was, my family would go out when we celebrate something. My family would go out when we're, having a bad day. It was always whatever the event was.
Yeah, you
we
come
went
home
out
on
and
a
eat.
Thursday and say, "Oh my God, I've had the crappy
That
week.
is just
Let's go out."
That's just being Italian. that's
But
that's
what's
all
my
that
problem?
is.
I'm not Italian.
You're happy, eat. You're sad, you eat. You're getting
You're
divorced,
stressed out, eat.
You get married, eat.
Right. And most of our environment is based around
Restaurants.
food and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, we can work on your mentality,
Let's do it
but
right now.
your willpower.
What?
Rick wants to lose 50 pounds
Well,
right
at its-
now.
well, at its
By
core-
July 4th.
At
Okay.
its core, there's
want
that food there, but there are people who can look at all that and go, no thanks. So what
not
is
one of 'em.
what's making you go say yes, please? Yes. It's
Because
really-
you're feeding something that's not really about hunger. You're feeding something
I mean,
maybe
More
more
emotional.
well, that's
Sure.
that's the exploration part. Is this just a physical thing? I don't have any food. I don't have the food that I would want to eat that would help me lose weight, but I have this available, and I'm hungry right now, so I'm going to go eat that. That's fine. You don't need me for that. That's a dietitian, nutritionist
Right.
issue.
Yeah.
But like you said, if I
Have other
So-
issues.
if I feel good and I want to celebrate, so I go out to eat. If I feel sad and I want to feel good because I feel bad and I want to feel bad, I go and eat. So your mind is already conditioned. Here's the fix. I know exactly what I need to do to fix this or to enhance it. Same with, it's actually a lot with smoking.
So do you get them in a hypnotic state and start telling them about, like, this is your trigger, or
honestly, not really, because
so what do you do when you decide, when they tell you the problem?
We find out what is the solution together. And
so where does the
know,
hypno come in?
That's how do we get that solution? How do we bring it up? Because, okay, you can feel good if you really wanted to on your own, but it feels, how do you do that? How do you do that without necessarily having in your head, I can't feel good at the end of the week unless I've had my drink, unless I've got that food in front of me. Is there a way we can make you feel same? Do you know what that feeling actually is? Can you bring it up yourself? The food is just the little, it's the trigger. That gives you, in your mind, permission to feel good. Can we just give you permission to feel good? Can we work with that without you needing to see food? Because then, and that's not, if I told you, be happy.
Can't do it automatically.
I can.
Oh, okay.
It's like when someone tells you to relax. What do? You relax, right?
Yeah,
No,
that's exactly what happened.
I'm kidding.
Sebastian, how are you with gambling?
Yeah, I need to know that too.
Let's see. The last time I went gambling, it was at
No,
a casino.
no, not your personal.
Can you come along with him to talk him through?
How not to push that.
You have a jack and a 7.
Yeah. Jack of 7. Oh, Jack.
Dealer has a jack and a 4.
You have $100 more dollars. I'm going to spend $100 more dollars.
Here's the big thing, too. Self-hypnosis.
He's so calming. I feel good just
great.
talking to him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Self-hypnosis is the big thing that's been kind of being pushed
Yeah,
nowadays.
so let's talk about that.
Oh my God,
talk
we haven't
about
finished
this.
one thought
No,
yet.
because
We're jumping.
he can't help us. I drink too much, you eat too much, and you gamble too much. What can he do for us right now?
Nothing.
That's a full day.
That is.
Where do we start?
That's a full house right there.
Yeah,
That's
There we go.
we have one big
You're right.
party.
In my defense, everyone in my family is a pusher.
They're drug pushers.
No, they're food pushers.
Yeah, that's
4:30
drug-
every single day. And I know they're all watching now, and they're going to say, they call up and say, where are we eating tonight? I go, oh my God, we just ate 2 hours ago. But no, they want to go back out.
Well, here's the thing. In a hypnotherapy session, you're going to have to, you realize that. You know this consciously. You know
Yes.
consciously, I'm going to see my family, they're going to bring food to me. Can you say no?
I've been asking him that for 10 years, Sebastian.
Apparently, the only one he can say no to is Kathy.
No, he can't.
No, I
even.
have a
he
problem
can't
with
even
that,
do
too.
that. Yeah.
She's already asked for 3 days off next week. I don't know how I
You'll be all
felt
right.
for that
Sure.
one.
I might even get 4 days off next week. I don't know.
You know, I did a show one time with one of the stage hypnotists. It was a big deal at the, I don't know if I ever told you this story. We were at the Worcester Centrum. It was a Harley enthusiast weekend.
Oh, wow.
And they were gonna, I was gonna open for the hypnotist, and it was in this big room. It was set up for 500 people, and there were 20.
Oh, my God.
Right. So, and they need numbers, right? And he's going through his thing, and he's trying to get people to, be susceptible, and he asks them questions and then sit down. So he finally ends up with 6 or 8 people that he can deal
Work with.
But these are, you got to remember, they're Harley
Yeah,
enthusiasts.
they're Hell's
Yeah,
Angels.
Yes, they're some 1%ers and stuff like that. So anyway, he gets the 6 or 8 people up on stage, and then he goes through the stage antics, and he dismisses this one and this one, and then he's got 2 people left, and he finally thinks he's got these 2 people under hypnosis, and he makes a suggestion, and one guy starts giggling, so he dismisses him. So he's got one guy left, and he thinks he's under. And the guy goes, "Okay, I'm going to say a word, and when I say that word, you're going to think you are a 6-foot-tall chicken."
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "I've been trying to tell people that for years."
That poor guy.
I was the only one in the audience, and I was howling.
I know this is way off track. Why was only 20 people out of 500?
Well, because there was motorcycle jousting in the room next to us.
Oh.
And if you were going to go see a hypnotist or motorcycle jousting, I know where I would be.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's get back to the self.
I know we got about 10 questions
because
to finish. No,
Well-
finish. No, we might have to have Sebastian.
I know I was going to ask them to come
All right,
back.
go ahead. You fire off some of
So
yours. What?
I want to know because
How can you make employees not be so disdainful about everything that you do at
I
work?
think it's more of a subliminal thing than a hypnosis thing.
So
Go ahead.
So how can self hypnosis? What does it look like, and how can it help our clients, our buyers, our sellers, our employees, and anyone that we come in contact with?
One of the big issues that people have is just like seeing any therapist, hypnotherapist, you have to book an appointment ahead of time. You have to come with issues. Things might go the way you wanted, but if you're stressed on Monday and I can't see you until Saturday,
Then you're really over the
it's
top.
that many days and
Right.
only so much time. Self-hypnosis is the next thing. It's a big not a fashion trend, but it's a big trend in the hypnosis world because
In the TikTok world?
surprisingly, yes, that is a big one because the rise of apps, the rise of things like, I want to say it's called Calm, make it so that it's easier to just have hypnosis done.
Is that similar to meditation, or what's? Go
It's
ahead.
closer to meditation.
Okay.
Because it is just you, 30 minutes, depending on how much time you have. And it's a lot of techniques from hypnosis. It's a little bit of meditation, but it's more goal-oriented. You know
Okay.
exactly.
So let's see.
I'm stressed. I want to relax.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm going to
Because
put up my
meditation, you just kind
Or
of.
like I wake up tomorrow morning and I say, I have a very busy day. I'm already feeling a little tiny bit agitated and I'm not even out of bed yet. So I would take that time to self-hypnotize myself or self-hypnosis to get ready for my day and put my best foot forward. So what does that look like?
Well, it would honestly be visualization. It would be a little bit of what exactly do you need to put your best foot forward? Is the best you, and that's part of it, is to start visualizing what is the best you. Is the best you energetic, really super hyper aware, alert,
Excited to attack the day. Yeah.
or is it a very calm, in control, not flustered by anything kind
boy.
of person?
No. Well, actually,
What do you
I'm
need?
kind of in the middle of that, right?
She's excitable and control at the same
Not
time.
excitable, excited. Those are two different words.
Way different.
Yeah.
Way different. Please don't start that. Please. We don't have the
Don't
time.
go down that
We don't
ugly
have the
road.
time for that. We
No,
don't.
so
And
like
Are
I'm
you
excited.
childlike or childish?
Right.
This actually comes from sports psychology, actually, because hypnosis really got its footing in the psychological world because of sports.
Sure.
Because it's based around doing an action over and over. And even when you're off the court, off the field, at rest, you're still practicing. So you're visualizing. So if you have a day ahead of you, it's no different than saying you have a game ahead of you.
Yeah.
What are you going to look like
Yeah.
if you were performing at your best? What
Yeah.
does it look like?
What it looks like
What does it
is
feel
that
like?
I'm excited to get out of bed, shower, go, and I'd like to stay calm, cool, and collected throughout a chaotic day.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to stay focused on my thing at hand, but there's 10 things that need to happen, you know what I mean? So,
So two things.
yep.
When you feel like things are out of control and you feel out of control, is there a feeling that comes up in your body?
Oh, yeah.
Is it in your gut? Is it in your
It's
head?
everywhere.
What's it feel
And then
like?
it comes out.
He's asking what it feels like.
I know.
What does it feel like?
It feels terrible.
And what does
It feels like I can't get my bearings back together.
So it feels disorienting?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Where do you feel that disorientation?
At work.
And where do you feel on your
No,
body?
in your body.
I feel it sometimes in my head, but sometimes I'll get like a stomach ache or a headache, or maybe I'll get a hive, or like it's physical.
So it's head and stomach.
Yeah.
You can feel what it'd be like to be disoriented, dizzy, probably nauseous. Mm-hmm. What would you want? What does it need to feel instead to feel calm and collected?
It needs to feel like I can't feel my stomach. Like there's
Can't feel
no-
your stomach.
Right.
Okay. What would it feel like to not feel your stomach? Where would you put your attention instead?
Back on my task at hand.
Okay. Where would you want to focus all your energy then? If you were right here, the task was right here, where's it going to flow?
Right there.
Okay. Look at that place.
Yep.
Breathe. Imagine that the start is your stomach. You're breathing in. It's going to come through the nose, out the mouth, towards the task at hand. You're doing the task that you need to do. You're doing your paperwork. You're meeting with people. It's playing out right in front of you.
Shit, now I got to go to the next task.
You know, back in my...
But it feels good. That feels good.
A lot of it is just finding out, and this is something that takes a little bit of work on people's path. When you actually feel bad, where do you actually feel bad? Because oftentimes it's a lot of the same areas. I feel tight in my chest. I feel, my stomach.
Well, your heart
hollow.
is racing really fast and you can't control it.
Exactly. How do we control it? And that's really a lot of it, because if you feel out of control, hypnosis is based on the idea of it's your emotions that are going to start your mind. You're going to start with your emotions first. I feel out of control, so my thoughts are scrambled. I can't think my way out of panic. I can distract myself, I can focus myself, but I can't just logically think my way out of
When
things.
you've gotten to that panic state.
Exactly. So
that
we
missing
can
link
just-
where you're actually telling her to focus on the task at hand, that's probably the key somehow. Or you're trying to get it out of your body.
I definitely think breathing, like if you guys do it, like sometimes I
Deep
feel
breathing,
like
yeah.
when I'm, feel like I might say something I shouldn't say or feel
a
a
minute
certain
and breathe,
way.
yeah.
I just kind of sit there and in through the, it's a common meditation, right? In through the nose, let it out
Yeah.
through the mouth. And if you do that like 5 or 6 times, you've cleared up that
I do it
anxiety.
before every show.
Yeah.
No matter what mayhem's going on around me, people talking to you, blah, blah, blah. I always, before I go on stage, take a minute and I breathe,
Yeah.
5 or 6 times, into slowly, out through the mouth, and it centers you to do the task.
Oh, the good in,
Yeah.
let the bad out.
We used to, back in my bell-bottom and bandana days.
I'd love that. Do you have
Yeah.
any pictures you could bring in?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
I would love that.
Yeah. There was a similar technique we used to use to get to talk yourself out of a headache, where you would picture the headache in a vat, that was like the size of a container truck, and then you would breathe, and then you'd go, okay, I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it into something a little bit smaller, and then you breathe again, and then you go, okay, now it's in just a bathtub, and then you breathe again, and then you go, okay, now it's just in a cup, and your headache gets smaller, and then you go, okay, now it's in a thimble, and I can throw it away, and we would rid ourselves
Really?
of a lot of
I
things.
love that.
That's kind of self-hypnosis.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
a little
Very
self-hypnosis, and
much.
and I swear by it. I
I
use
think-
it with my kids.
I think with this, it's not.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricking you that you're thinking the reason he's doing better is because you make it smaller and smaller. But the actual act of doing it 4, 5, 6 times.
Yes,
Right.
and calming yourself.
Well, it's the
Calm
same
yourself
thing
out.
as like keep the task in your
Focus.
focus,
It's the same thing,
right?
yeah.
I need to get rid of my headache.
So that seems to be the difference of the, meditation and hypnosis, where you're actually directing to a task, right?
Meditation, that's why I always say that hypnosis is easier than meditation. Meditation is difficult because it's the exact opposite of what we're trained to do. We're trained to think. We're trained to, or at least we think about a lot of stuff. We feel, we think about it. We think about the future, we think about the past. Meditation is just let all the thoughts let go. Hypnosis just says, oh, there's a particular thought that's buzzing around a little bit heavier than all the other thoughts. Let's focus on that.
And
Something's
put it in the right spot.
Yeah.
you could get a job at Peloton in the meditation department because
I would love to do that. Do I have to be on a bike?
Yeah.
yeah, they have
Yes.
a bike, they have a treadmill, they have a rower, but they also have
Yeah.
meditation with this
okay.
guy named Ross Rayburn. But he's
uh,
left there. But you should look him up. His voice.
Instead of the watch thing now, you'd have to wave your Apple Watch in front of you, and all you'd be thinking is, I gotta go pick up my laundry. The kids.
I know. Imagine do that in front of a millennial.
Hey,
What's a watch?
what's a watch?
I know. So with meditation, sometimes it's more. Well, not sometimes. It sounds like it's more abstract.
It's
like,
a mind
Like when you're doing that, one thing is
right?
you're doing the
Yeah.
breathing and you're breathing out. I've seen different techniques, and there's a million, but you're breathing out, and supposedly all colors are coming out, and you're visualizing that breathing in and then breathing back out. But it's more abstract, whereas with the hypnosis,
Well, hypnosis is, like I said, it's huge. So the breathing, visualization, that totally is hypnosis.
Yeah.
But what do you do with a client or someone who can't really picture things?
okay.
What if you do something else? Like you need them to do something different. What do you do if someone has a traumatic issue they're going through, or they're something right now is bringing up some past trauma? What do we do then if we're trying to get them to visualize, but their minds are stuck on a certain image?
Right, which is probably bad, right?
Right.
Like a
Right.
bad image.
All
or
right, so this is what we
something.
should do. When
We
we
should
hold
do-
this thought
Yeah.
and pick this up, can you come back
Now,
next
why
week?
do you think this is all so important?
This is all very important because I think...
Why?
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so the way to get back to your point, it helps people. It really is just saying you don't have to do something complex like meditation. And I say it's complex, but it's simple. But you don't have to do something as intimidating as not thinking. Self-hypnosis is just spot treatment, but it's really useful spot treatment for anxiety, for stress, for everyday tasks, for getting yourself ready for the day. It helps everyone, for salespeople, realtors, for lawyers, for clients, for people just getting started with their day. It is an easy, simple few minutes, and it really does make a difference.
And you say
Especially,
easy and simple, but it's a game changer.
it's honestly just playing with your imagination. When you were a kid, it was the easiest thing in the world to say, imagine you're a pirate.
Right.
Imagine you're on Mars.
Imagine I'm on vacation.
Imagine you're on vacation.
We get to go, but can you come back next week? Because
I should be able to.
And I'll answer this right before we go. The reason I think it's important, because I think in the closing world, buyers and sellers kind of minimize the stress they're about to go into. And we see it during the way, and a lot of times we're acting as
We're taking it on,
psychologists.
right?
So I would love to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I have to go do some deep breathing on the end of a cigar.
Quickly, give us your contact information.
I am at windmillhypnosis.com. Instagram also Windmill Hypnosis. Really should get on TikTok, but I just don't have that time.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
all
have
right.
that short
You need a
attention
social
span.
media guy or girl.
Could do
All
anyone.
right. Thanks
Kathy?
for joining us. This was
Thank
Do
you.
you need an extra
very
job?
informative.
This is
I hope you come
awesome.
back. We'll see you next week here on the Real Estate House Party. Tony, go get your
Thank you for
cigar.
having me, guys.
I got to pee, too.
Thanks for coming.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.